The best advice I can give, and I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, is buy a simulator first. Welcome to another RC video. So I wanted to make a video for someone maybe who's new to the hobby or just somebody who's interested in my collection. The helicopters that I have from first to last, or just maybe for someone that wants to watch this and if you're new to the hobby or whatever. Yeah, let's get to it. So I've always liked helicopters. Ever since I was a kid, I saw a gas helicopter being flown in a field, and from that day forward, a dream of mine was to fly RC helicopters. Let me just go through everything real quick with you so maybe you can get started yourself. I don't own any nitro helicopters. Everything I have is electric. The first helicopter I ever flew, this guy right here. You can probably pick one of these up for, I don't know, 20, 30 bucks maybe. You might have seen them at the mall. You might even own one yourself. It is the classic Syma gyro helicopter. So this thing is completely stable. It's 2-channel, meaning you can go up and down, and you can go forward and backwards. It's got a fly bar, and it's got these dual rotors here. It's extremely stable. You can literally tap it in the air, and it'll just wobble like that and go back to forward flight. Pretty resilient. You can hit the walls. You can do everything you can imagine to this, and it'll still fly. It is not radio. It works off infrared, so you can't fly it outside, but that's fine. It's more of an indoor helicopter anyways. So this will teach you control, is the best way I can say. It'll teach you how to keep it from, smashing in the ground, basically how to keep it in a hover, and how to move around your room or whatever. So this right here was the absolute first helicopter. Next, I bought the Esky Honey Bee version 2. I got this for about 100 bucks. Back in the day. This was a while ago. It came with this transmitter here, 4-channel transmitter. It is only 4-channel helicopter. This is flybar, meaning it has this right here to balance it out, and it is fixed pitch. And what this means is that the blades do not change pitch. All they do is go like this, and basically it's your roll. So you can go left, right, you go forward, backwards, up, down, left, and right. This thing is very tricky to fly. I only ever got a few successful flights on it. But this right here taught me basically when the helicopter's flying what to do. I smashed this into the wall a lot. Parts were cheap. I have a lot of extra parts for it. It doesn't fly anymore. I fried the speed controller by putting too big of a battery in it. But this right here is pretty much what I learned to fly helicopters on. I had training wheels, which are the cross pieces, and then you have 4 little like ping pong balls that allow it so that when you land, it's not going to hit the ground sideways. It's just going to kind of land on the training gear. I can't recommend that enough too. If you're starting out with a helicopter, get yourself a nice set of training gear so that way you can save yourself some trouble. Moving on, the next helicopter I purchased was this one here. I think it was about 100 bucks too. It's a Walkera U-Fly, I believe, and it came with this remote here. Again, just your regular, everyday, simple 4-channel helicopter. You have up, down, you have your rudder, and then you have your pitch, your collective. This one here also is fixed pitch. I don't have any blades on it yet, but as you can see, it's just, you can't change the pitch of the blades. It's either up or down, and forward or backward, left, right. That's pretty much it. Yeah, this one didn't last long. Cheap plastic parts, made in China. Landed it, this gear stripped the piece that goes into the tail. And as you can see, when I spin this, the tail no longer spins. So that pretty much went out the window right away. Next on the list, the MCPx. A lot of you guys would probably want to start flying with something small. Now this here is flybarless. As you can see, there is no flybar on it. It's just straight blades, and it is also collective pitch, meaning these blades here will change their pitch. See? I'll show you on a bigger model. It's a little easier. This is my first 3D helicopter. This thing is extremely fast. It'll go inverted. It'll do everything you know a bigger helicopter will do, just with a small profile. This one doesn't work anymore either. I fried the board, but I got a lot of flights in it, and I would say this one probably taught me how to fly better than these two right here. It's small, it's resilient. Next would be this piece of crap right here, the Blade. This isn't even the Blade SR. This is just a canopy off the Blade SR, but I don't know the name of it. CP something, I don't know. But this one is actually, it's got a fly bar on it, but it is collective pitch, so you're able to change the pitch of the blades. So again, this is going to allow you to do tricks and all that types of stuff instead of just, you know, a fixed pitch, which is just going to go up, down. There's really no movement to it. After that, let's see, what did I get? This guy right here, the 130X. Now, I know there's a lot of people that have this helicopter that absolutely love it. Me, personally, it only ever gave me trouble. I just kept having issues with the servo for the tail and everything. So it doesn't have a lot of flights to it, unfortunately. At some point, I might go get it fixed or checked out, but they do have the 130S now, which has stabilization mode, which is probably good for someone who's new, but I'm pretty sure it's a little more powerful than someone who's brand new to the hobby can handle. So, but again, this is also fly barless, and it's a collective pitch helicopter, so you're able to invert the blades, so that way you can do tricks and hard maneuvers and all that cool stuff. Moving on, next one I picked up, yeah, I think it's this one here. This is the Blade Nano CPx. So CP means collective pitch. This thing's great. It's brushed motor, so it doesn't have a lot of power. But if you want to learn 3D or just, you know, flying in general, this thing's perfect because you can smash this thing pretty hard and it'll hold up. You know, you're gonna break things. You know, like this wash plate is plastic, so I replaced with aluminum. The gear might strip on you. Just small things, but the parts are cheap, so it's really easy to fix. It's nice for indoors. It's pretty good outside. It handles, you know, small amounts of wind, but nothing crazy. So yeah, next on the list would be the Blade 230S. Okay, so this is a special one right here. Blade 230S, in my opinion, is probably one of the best helicopters that's ever come from this company. It has safe mode, panic recovery. So what that means is if something goes wrong, you hit a button on the transmitter and the helicopter returns to regular flight. So you can easily practice pretty much anything with this. And if something goes wrong, you just hit that button, boom, you're going to be flying straight again. You still need to know how to fly, because no helicopter is good if you're going to fly it straight into the wall. You know, you have to understand control and things like that. And that's what you'll learn on something like the little yellow one I first showed you. Not this guy, but the other one back there. You got to know when you're going to hit a wall and how to avoid it. But other than that, if you want a good helicopter to learn on, parts are cheap, very strong, it's all plastic, this is your helicopter. Bar none, the best helicopter that I've ever purchased. I have so many flights on this, it's ridiculous. This is the Blade 300 CFX. Carbon fiber X. X meaning it'll do tricks. It's collective pitch. I have the most money in this one. Sadly, I've crashed it very many times. Overall, not too bad for first crash. I have a little more confidence in myself now, but I have to remember to not do whatever it is I did. If it had something like this that would auto-stabilize when things go wrong, that would have been great. But at this point, I've put a lion tail blade grips on it, regular blades. The canopy, I stopped replacing because it just cracks. It starts off with all plastic servos. They strip on every crash. I stopped replacing them after a while. Now it has all metal gear servos. This thing's great, but if you don't know how to fly helicopters, you're going to destroy this one right away. So I wouldn't recommend getting anything like this until you finally mastered how everything works. It's a great helicopter though. This thing's pretty serious. Next, I got this little guy. It's another Nano, but this one's brushless. It's got all aluminum frame. Everything's upgraded on it. This thing right here, let me tell you, it moves. It's the same thing, it's just been converted to brushless. It's got a different canopy on it. More power, easier for tricks, all that good stuff. So next is the big boy, the Goblin 380. Look at this guy. This thing is my largest helicopter and probably my prized possession. I believe it's 450 size if I'm correct, and I think they measure that by the blades. I bought this pre-built, gotta be honest. I got an incredible deal with it. It also came with the DX8, which was basically free for the price I paid. This is full hardcore collective pitch, fly barless. This thing is no joke. If you don't know how to fly, this is not your helicopter. But with that being said, it flies fantastic. The bigger they are, the better they fly. That is an absolute truth when it comes to RC helicopters. I've got a few flights in this. I don't do any 3D on it. I just fly it around sport. I like the way it looks. I like to keep it on the shelf. Once you've done everything that I've done over here, this is what you get eventually. You know, you finally can spend some money on something good and enjoy flying it without smashing into the ground. This thing right here, I would not want to crash it. Let's just put it that way. So I'm very safe with it. You can see this helicopter all over YouTube doing crazy maneuvers and things like that. Not for me. Maybe one day, but not really, most likely. Last but not least, I just picked this one up. This is the Blade 230S V2. It's got a new flight controller, better lock on the tail, new canopy, new color scheme. There's a bunch of things it's got, but the best part about it is it flies pretty close to the original, just better. This thing is absolutely amazing. I guess you could say it's the evolution of this guy here, the Blade SR. Just, yeah, they've come a long way. Now, I appreciate you watching my video. Hopefully you've made it this far. One thing I left out that you absolutely need. Pick yourself up a simulator. I would say for every hour of flight that I have in any of my helicopters here, I have 10 hours in the simulator. You will crash over and over and over and over and over again in real life, and you will continue rebuilding and being frustrated and spending all your money. But if you get a simulator, those problems are solved. You can fly and crash, and fly and crash, and you can do every trick you want to try. You can try 3D, you can try inverted, you go fast, slow, try all different types of helicopters. You need a simulator. So the best advice I can give, and I probably should have said this at the beginning of the video, is buy a simulator first. You can get a remote like this, or a remote like this, and plug it in, and boom, you're flying. I think that's pretty good description of my history with helicopters. I started with something basic, and I finally moved on to something advanced. But in the end of the day, my favorite helicopter is the intermediate one. Plain and simple. It's fun, it's small, you can leave it in your car, you can fly wherever you go. It does a lot of the tricks, it does everything the big one will do, but in a little package, and it's cheap. So, okay, well, thanks for watching my video, and I hope you have fun. I wish you the best.